Can I build a complete system, piece by piece, on Facebook Marketplace for $500, and what would that PC look like? I actually went out and bought all of the items to do it. God, this computer is looking good. I can't wait to turn this thing on. So when I decided that I was going to do this computer is not at all what I saw in my head. I cannot believe how good the quality is. This is amazing to me.
It's about to go down.
So let's say hypothetically you've got $500 in your pocket and all you really want to do is spend that money on a gaming PC so that you can log on and play games all night and day with your buddies. So what do you do next? You head to the places that you know sell gaming systems, but then you quickly realize that the $500 that you saved up to buy your gaming computer is nowhere near enough to get a system that's gonna play the games that you and your buddies are playing. So now you're left with a few options. You can go ahead and purchase a console for that $500, but that's just a console and it's not the gaming PC of your dreams. You could save up some more money and put buying a computer to the side for a little while, or you could check the used market to see if maybe you can find what you're looking for there. But what if the complete systems that you find on Marketplace still don't have everything that you want to make you feel confident in the amount of money you're going to give them and the performance that you think you're going to get from that system? And now I'm asking myself, can I build a complete system, piece by piece, on Facebook Marketplace for $500, and what would that PC look like? So let's go ahead and see what we have available in my area and see if it's even possible to do. So first we would need to look at the processor and the graphics card, because those two items are going to be the main driving factor in how well this computer performs. We're going to need to make sure that what we can find is strong enough to make sure that we get exactly what we're looking for without blowing our entire budget on just two items. Now, next up on the list of things that we would need in order to build this system is a motherboard, and you're gonna have to make sure that the motherboard that you pick is compatible with the processor that you're picking. Now, a lot of times on Facebook Marketplace, you can find combo deals where they're selling the motherboard and the processor together, but that's not always the better value. Make sure that you do your research before you pick up anything like that. So now I would be looking for a power supply, and you want to make sure that you get a decent power supply with enough wattage to make sure that in the future, if you want to do some small upgrades, you have that ability. And with 16 gigs of RAM pretty much being the minimum that you would want for a gaming system, for $500, I think that it would be better if you went with maybe 32 gigs. So we would be looking for something a little bit more powerful to put in our system because it is $500. And now all we are left with is the need for a storage drive so that we can put our operating system on it and all of our games, and a home for all of our hardware to live. So you're going to want to find a case that's large enough to fit all of the hardware that you've gone ahead and purchased, and then you are also going to need to make sure that whatever storage you decide to go with is large enough to make sure that 2 weeks after you build your computer, you're not out running around looking for more storage space. And I haven't been being hypothetical while talking about building this computer system. I actually went out and bought all of the items to do it, and I only spent $435. Now, I am aware that not everybody is going to live in a city or a country where the Facebook Marketplace is full of different items to choose from. And just because I was able to find particular deals on these specific items, you are probably not going to get the exact same deals, and you'll get different ones or better ones depending on where you live. But the overall mission was accomplished, and now we gotta go ahead and piece this thing together to see if it all even works. Now, I did get an extremely ridiculous deal on this PC case, because not only is it the case, it also comes with a motherboard in it, and the motherboard inside of here is an X570 plus Wi-Fi board. It also has a 600 watt power supply in here. So for $100, I knocked out 3 items that we need in order to build the computer. The only problems that I see with this PC case is that it's absolutely filthy and stinks of cigarettes. And the other thing is the front tempered glass panel is missing. And when I asked the guy where it was, he said that it shattered. So what I went ahead and did was I reached out to the manufacturer of this case to see if they sold tempered glass panel replacements. And I was completely ghosted. So it's a good thing that we have $65 extra to spend, because we're gonna have to figure out something for this front panel, because I don't wanna just leave the fans exposed. So the next two items that I got were the CPU and the graphics card. For CPU, I found somebody selling a Ryzen 5 3600X for only $80. And on top of the fact that he gave me this for $80, he threw in an extra Intel Core i3 4170. I've never used this processor, but it's a free processor that he gave me for $80. And for graphics card, this guy was selling this Red Devil 5700 XT for only $100. That's a triple fan card, and this bad boy is beefy. Another thing when it comes to this PC that I was very excited to see was somebody was selling a 240mm radiator. Now, typically when it comes to budget builds, I go air cooling, but for the value and price tag on this radiator, I couldn't pass that up. Plus, this is a ID cooling radiator that I haven't used before, because this one actually has RGB control in it, and I'm pretty excited to see how it looks paired with the rest of the RGB fans inside this case. Now, last but not least, the storage for this system. This was the hardest part of this entire build, because everybody selling SSDs anywhere near me was selling them at ridiculous prices, sometimes even higher than what you could find the item for brand new. So I was stressing like crazy trying to find storage for this, but thankfully, yesterday, one day before this video is supposed to be recorded, somebody posts a Samsung 1TB NVMe at a price that wasn't completely insane. So thankfully, I got a little bit of stress relief from that, but this will do wonderful for this computer. Now, we do need to go ahead and get this case disassembled because it reeks of cigarettes and I'm getting a massive headache from it. So let's go ahead and get to disassembling. God, this computer is looking good. I can't wait to turn this thing on. So when I decided that I was going to do this computer is not at all what I saw in my head when I envisioned what it would look like at the end. But we are at that pivotal moment where it gets turned on for the first time and we see if we can get an image from it. All in all, I'm a little skeptical that it's gonna turn on, but let's go ahead, let's fire the computer on and let's see if we can actually get an image from the computer we built from all used parts. Dang. Ooh, that is a lot of RGB. I thought the Red Devil card would light up. Image? I'm gonna look in the screen here to see if we get an image. Give me some, oh, there it is. That's it. And boom, wonderful. It actually works. It works. Everyone who sold me their parts, they were legitimate. And now we get to play some games on it and see if this thing performs just as good as it looks. What I think is so fun about this entire idea is that no matter what, you could do this 100 times and you will come up with a different outcome every time. You'll never find the same exact pieces. So every computer you would do is gonna look a little different. I'm just amazed that the first time I try to do it, the computer looks this good. So before I wanted to play any games on this system, I did want to run Prime 95 just to stress test the computer a little bit to see if everything was stable. I did put a very small overclock on the CPU, try to get a little bit more performance out of it, and everything's looking great. So it's now time to see how well it plays in some games. This thing looks amazing. Now, if only I could find somebody to kill. So there is nothing like starting your day off with some Call of Duty. I was getting anywhere from 85 to 100 FPS depending on what was happening in the environment. And GPU temp never went over 72 degrees. CPU temp never went over 50. I am very pleased at how it did in Call of Duty. Now it's time to try Hogwarts Legacy because that's an intense game and I'm pretty excited to see how it does in that. So I've got Hogwarts Legacy up. I did run their benchmark so that it would preset everything to the quality settings that it recommends, and it's recommending high settings for everything. Let's go ahead and let's get in the game and see what it looks like, because I'm pretty excited to see how well it performs. Oh wow, this game looks so good on this system. I am blown away. I am blown away. You're getting 60 FPS high settings in Hogwarts Legacy, and this game is a tough one to run. It's looking so nice. To go part picking on Facebook Marketplace and come up with a result that looks this good and performs this well, I think is a massive win for the channel. The only issue that I do have with it is it doesn't have that front tempered glass panel. Now I did cut a piece of plexiglass to put there, but it doesn't look very good in comparison to the tinted glass that they have for the front panel. So I'm just not gonna put it on, and I'm just gonna make sure that I always have my air duster ready to spray it out, because it will collect dust a little bit faster. But ultimately, the airflow that is coming from in here is phenomenal. The two fans in the back and the two fans on top are exhausting a massive amount of air, keeping the system nice and cold, and I couldn't be happier with how this computer ended up. Now, I do hope that you enjoyed the content. It did take me about a week of running around to different people's houses and different people's meetup spots to get all the parts to make this computer possible. So if you could consider hitting the subscribe button and smashing that like button as well, that would be fantastic. Plus, you gotta make sure you're subscribed, because next week I'm gonna paint a motherboard. But until then, as always, I hope that no matter where you are in the world, you are having a fantastic day, and I'll see you in the next video.